everybody. Thanks for being here this morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Mary McGuire, as I think you know by now, Director of Public and Legislative Affairs at AAA Northeast, and I come before you today to advocate for a no vote on ballot question 4, which would legalize recreational marijuana in Massachusetts. We at AAA are deeply concerned about the potential impact of legalized recreational marijuana use on traffic safety. We oppose passage of question 4 because we believe that it will lead to an increase in drug-impaired driving, traffic crashes, and highway fatalities. And we are also concerned that the Commonwealth is simply not prepared to deal with the potential increase in drug driving. Getting behind the wheel when you're high on marijuana poses a risk to you, to your passengers, and to everyone else on our roadways. Research from the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety reveals that marijuana use impairs driving by making it harder for motorists to judge distance, reducing peripheral vision and coordination, slowing decision-making and reaction time, and making it harder for drivers to stay in their traffic lanes. Perhaps most important, drivers who are high are unable to accurately assess their own performance behind the wheel. In other words, their precious judgment is impaired. At a time when we are seeing the most dramatic spike in traffic fatalities in 50 years across this country, does it make sense to pass a law that AAA believes will only increase incidents of impaired driving? No, it makes absolutely no sense at all. Recent research by the AAA Foundation found that fatal crashes involving drivers who recently used marijuana more than doubled in Washington state after that state legalized recreational marijuana in 2012. The AAA study also found that, unlike tests that have been developed over decades to measure blood alcohol content to enforce drunk driving laws, there is no similar, reliable, or scientific way to test for marijuana impairment. This poses a serious challenge for law enforcement, and we worry that the Commonwealth is not fully prepared to deal with a potential influx of drivers impaired by marijuana. It has also taken generations to educate the driving public about drinking and driving, and to strengthen laws to reduce drunk driving. Passage of question 4 would only create new traffic safety issues for Massachusetts. Other AAA clubs share our concerns. AAA in California is opposing Proposition 64, and AAA in Maine is also opposed to the ballot question legalizing recreational marijuana use there. Driving is the most dangerous thing that we all do, most of us, every single day. Let's not make it even more dangerous to get behind the wheel here in Massachusetts. We hope you will join AAA Northeast in opposing ballot question 4. Thank you.
Jonathan Blodgett, Essex County District Attorney. And as Mary just emphasized, the legal framework needed to protect the public safety if marijuana is legalized does not exist. We are years away from an effective, standardized, reliable, and court-approved roadside test that measures a driver's THC level. And even if such a test existed, there is no scientific consensus as to what the amount of THC in the blood constitutes impairment. Without a breathalyzer equivalent, police and prosecutors will have one hand tied behind their backs when it comes to protecting our families from those who will drive while under the influence of marijuana. So many of these questions concern the enforcement of OUI drug laws, a safe level of marijuana for drivers, and what prosecutors can present in court in order to prove OUI drugs is at a state of flux. Until those matters are resolved, it is in the best interest of the public safety to vote no on question 4. In driving here today, I also had another concern, which was not mentioned earlier and not part of the discussion. We have laws to affect proper punishment for people who are impaired drivers with respect to alcohol for multiple offenses. What's going to happen if this law passes for people who drive impaired more than once under the influence of drugs? That question hasn't even been discussed yet, and it's one that's important for public safety and keeping families safe. Thank you.